Paul, look, genuinely, you need to 6-7 that for real. Not doing so is so millennial for real. Okay, boomer, bye. I've been learning TikTok lingo.
Okay, but did you skibbity toilet Riz in Ohio today? Did you look smacks even? Wow, fake.
Jesus, what ancient Aramaic do you speak? And welcome back to another episode of Crips and Corks. I'm your host DJ, and I have more accents and dialects than Meryl Streep, along with my co-host.
Paul, that timeshare, that's definitely gonna pay off. Promise. As usual.
You know, I don't think it is gonna pay off. They never do.
See, that's the thing. Like, why would people even buy... Well, actually, pyramid schemes. Everyone buys into a pyramid scheme at once in their life. Like, it's just a thing. Like,
Yeah.
people follow. It's
Do
just
you know
a
how
thing.
many pyramid schemes right out of college that I got hired into and I accepted the job offer and then just never showed up?
Yeah, that happened to me too. I got a couple sales jobs that turned out to be pyramid schemes, and I promptly yeeted myself out of
Yeah,
there.
I didn't even let them know. I just kind of ghosted them.
Yeah, they probably deserved it, honestly. If you're a pyramid scheme, you probably deserve
Yeah.
it. But that's neither here nor there. How was your week?
It was long. It was a long week. A relative of mine had surgery. It was fine. Everything was fine. But you know, sitting in a hospital for nearly 12 hours sucks. It is such a liminal split space.
Wait, you had to sit there for 12 hours?
Yeah, because like we had to get there at 8:15 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and then they weren't like ready to be seen, like out of surgery and ready to be seen until 6 o'clock in the evening.
Damn, and girl, they were asleep. Why the fuck you have to sit there? Homegirl's out. Whoever it
In
was out.
case, just in case something happens.
Girl, okay. Two.
But on the plus side, I had lunch in the cafeteria and the food was actually pretty good.
Okay, I do like hospital food.
You like hospital food? That's
Yes!
wild.
Hospital food is good. They got like tenders and things. They got good like things
They
up
did
in the
have tenders
hospital.
and they were real chicken tenders. They were better than some real restaurants I go to.
Actually, back when I was in college, there was a hospital across from the college, and me and my friends would walk across the street to the hospital cafeteria a lot, yeah. And it was also cheaper than the school cafeteria.
Hey, you here to visit? Cafeteria.
It was very that. It was very that. We would greet the security guards and just go to the cafeteria and do the thing. Yeah, no, I do like a hospital cafeteria.
I just like the food.
It's like the closest thing you'll get to a school lunch ever again. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny you say that because my grandfather was also there and he got a Schneider's chocolate milk. Which I don't know about your school, but my school had all, like, they had the Schneider's regular, they had 2%, they had skim, they had chocolate, vanilla, strawberry.
At your school?
Yeah.
My school did not. They had chocolate and vanilla, and then water was $2 extra. Maybe it was $1 extra, but water was definitely extra.
Okay, it was crazy though because if you got free lunches at my school, milk was included. Water you had to pay extra, which is wild.
Yeah, that never sat right with me. And then they're giving all these kids stomach issues. Like, that milk would mess up my stomach.
Right?
Milk with pizza, all that dairy, and then I'm wondering why I'm feeling awful afterwards. And then, like, yeah, I could go on and on about this tangent, but yeah,
The
not
all
tea.
dark meat chicken patties.
Okay, I did like a high school chicken patty. I'm messing with the chicken patties, and then it came with the mashed potatoes. Living. I lived for that shit.
Yours didn't come as a sandwich?
Yeah.
Oh, and it came with mashed potatoes?
Yeah. Like a side of mashed potatoes and like broccoli.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. How was your week?
My week's fine. We're gearing up for Iceland still. So the next episode, you guys will get to hear all about my adventures in Iceland and see what's gonna go down. So gearing up for that, working hard and things, doing some workouts, getting things ready. Kind of hectic, but you know, vacation's right around the corner. And then that'll be my blessing is vacation's right around the corner. And then for my curse, I think DJ and I share the same curse. We already discussed it that Abby and David from Love on the Spectrum broke up and there's no hope anymore. Life is sad. Love doesn't exist. Yeah, it's just really sad.
I require French fries.
Yeah, it's just that's the thing I never saw coming. I thought they were gonna get like engaged on the season and then married on the
Yeah.
next, but now they're probably gonna start their journeys over again on the next season. It's just like, girl, it's crazy. That one hit me in the soul.
Yeah. I I can't talk about it. You brought it up and I literally felt a migraine start to form as soon as the words were out of your mouth.
Right, right. And like I do get why she like ended it because she wanted to get married and he didn't. So like I get that part of it.
I haven't watched the new season
But
yet.
that wasn't on the new
Oh,
season.
okay.
They were like they're happy on this season.
Okay.
It's after the season comes out and she just like released it this week that they ended things cuz she wants to get married and he didn't and it's like dang.
On the post you sent me yesterday about it, I looked at the comments just to be like, please let this be fake.
Right. Please.
And I had to stop because one of the top comments was, but she's his lioness to his lion. And
I know.
I started weeping. Like, it's 5 minutes before we had to start work. I'm like weeping at my computer.
They did the cutest thing. Like, they went to freaking Africa together. Saw their favorite animals together. I mean, I'm being very cynical right now. But at the same time, there's no hope.
I'm drinking. I don't care if you're ready or not. I'm ready.
Yeah, it's time for a beverage. Let's get up in the gig.
Beveragino. This week we're drinking a 19 Crimes Red Blend. This one is aged 30 days in rum barrels.
30, ooh.
It is intensely rich with a jammy finish, notes of sweet mocha, caramel, and spice. And the criminal on the front, because there's nothing on the back that we haven't heard before, is Cornelius Dwyer Kane was a major player in the pursuit of Irish independence. Arrested in 1864, he was sentenced to 10 years in an Australian penal colony.
Interesting. Let's see if this 19 Crimes redeems last week's tragedy.
Yes, and let's see if I can actually not destroy a cork.
This one sounds like a win. Maybe not. What is going on with our wine opener, girl? It was working fine for like so long, and now we just can't seem to get her right. Not you manually twisting it. Do you think that's actually going to get it open? Oh, is it working?
Yes!
Period. Period. We got you this
Suck
time.
Suck it, Oster!
Yeah, we need a new wine bottle opener.
Are we allowed to get that one that our friend sent us?
I think so, yeah. So,
And have it, like, on this?
yeah, I think so. I don't see why not.
Okay, it smells decent. ASMR port number 1. What was that?
Just keep going.
If you're making those noises during sex, this might be why you're alone.
No, it sounds like the dentist, the thing at the dentist, the sucker. If you
I
will.
don't find that soothing.
Or like the ocean, maybe. Pretend that it's the ocean. But now it's your turn.
Okay. ASMR port number 2. I'm not going to do my normal shtick of you're safe, because after that, I don't think anyone's safe.
No. Beautiful. Stunning.
We gotta clean my mom.
Okay. Sorry, that did not smell good. We're not off to a good start.
It's whiny.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
Down the hatch, I guess. Okay.
Tastes better than it smells.
It does taste a lot better than it smells, so that's a good sign.
I'm getting the caramel and the mocha.
Yeah, still not my favorite. Still, yeah, it's happening to me. But it's definitely better than last week, so I'm going to give that 3 grapes.
I'm gonna give it 4. I kind of like it.
I'm going to drop mine down to 2.5.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah, it's not like my favorite, and I would not buy this wine on purpose, but I'll drink it.
I will say this is like a glass of wine type of wine. Like you
Yeah.
can't sit and drink the whole bottle.
Yeah, this is definitely a glasser.
Mm-hmm.
A glasser kind of sounds like a slur. I probably shouldn't say that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
In England, if you're a drunk, you're called a wino.
A wino?
A wino.
I've heard that before. No, I've definitely heard that before. Like, I've definitely heard that on, like, The Real Housewives, them calling each other winos.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Catherine Tate?
No.
She's a British comedian. She has this character where she's like a student who always backtalks, and when the teacher eventually backtalks to her, she goes, "You called me mama wino. You called my dad a deadbeat." I'll have to show you a clip.
Yeah, it's probably funnier in the clip for sure.
It is. I'll show you the one she did it at a live performance, and the Queen was there, and she's like on stage, and she's yelling at the Queen.
The Queen of England?
The Queen of England.
Okay, iconic. Legend
I'm
behavior.
going to show you this clip after we're done. But for now, Paul, let me tell you a story.
Woo! Let's get into it!
This revolutionary prison promised solitude, reflection, and redemption. But what it delivered instead was silence so deep it drove some inmates to insanity. From its eerie radial cell blocks to the whispered legends of shadowy figures roaming the halls after dark, Eastern State has become as famous for its hauntings as it once was for its harsh discipline. Even notorious gangster Al Capone did time inside these walls, though his experience looked very different from most. Today, we're pouring a glass and exploring the history, the horror, and the lingering spirits said to still walk the halls long after the last prisoners left in Eastern State Penitentiary.
I'm going to have to be real honest with you for a second.
Okay.
When you told me we were doing Eastern State Penitentiary, I was real excited and things because I knew it was very haunted and things. But I will be honest with the fact that this entire week I thought it was forgive me if this isn't the politically correct term, but I did think this entire week that it was in asylum for our mentally challenged friends. And I was excited because those are some of the most scary to me, and some of the most haunted places are the abandoned asylums. And now that I'm realizing that it's a prison, I do feel very dumb. But don't they call, like, asylums penitentiaries sometimes? So
That's a word for jail.
Oh, I really thought it was a synonym for,
No.
well, you know what? I'm just proud of myself for knowing the word synonym.
Good for you, Paul.
So
Let me
yeah.
tell you my sources.
Period. Let's get into it.
My sources include the website of the Pennsylvania Prison Society, the website of Eastern State Penitentiary, Morbid the Podcast, BuzzFeed Unsolved on YouTube, U.S. Ghost Adventures on YouTube, the website for Philly Ghosts, and the website for Haunted U.S.
Period. That's a lot of sources. Damn. Yeah. Period.
I wanted to make sure I got it right.
Yeah, and really just driving home that it is a prison.
Yes. I had to cross-track against all of those to make sure it was a prison and not an insane asylum.
Right. Now, how well do you think you do in prison?
Not well.
I don't think I'd do well either, unless, because, like, I know if I went into prison, I'd have to be a bottom, and I don't think that would fly with me, okay? Now, I think I could get used to it after a few months, maybe, and sleep my way to the top, but I think it'd be a rough couple first months. Or maybe I could just, like, charm them, like, with my comedy, wit, and humor, and maybe I wouldn't get shanked.
Your charisma, uniqueness...
Nerve and talent.
Thank you. I couldn't remember nerve.
Yeah, that's fine. I remembered it.
It was a moment. Anyways, let's get right into the history of it. The history of the prison can be traced back to 1787. The Fid
Girl, we had only been like a country for like a couple years.
for like
1776?
11 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That was some quick math. I don't like math, but I did it.
At least someone could do math on this podcast.
In that year, the Philadelphia Society for Alleviating the Miseries of Public Prisons, try saying that 3 times fast,
I shan't.
now called the Pennsylvania Prison Society, it still exists, was founded by prominent Philadelphians including founding fathers Benjamin Franklin and Dr. Benjamin Rush. We all know what Ben Franklin did.
Ben Rush is a good porn name.
It is. But Ben Franklin invented electricity, he invented bifocals, and he was a horny motherfucker. Benjamin Rush was a doctor.
Did Franklin have syphilis? Was he the one who had the syphilis, or was that some other dude?
I know he had gout.
The gout. Yeah, same thing.
Because when the Constitution was being written, around this time period, so Ben Franklin was busy.
The girls were getting it together.
He's like, reform prisons, set up post office, write a constitution.
Well, they obviously didn't do a good job reforming the prisons with how what they are today. And you can take that to the bank, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, this society was the first prison reform society in the world. These were the first people ever to form a group and say, you know what, prisons suck, let's find a way to make them more humane. And it was actually formed in direct response to the appalling conditions that prisoners were subjected to at the Walnut Street prison, where inmates were kept in large communal halls.
I bet that was real safe. I bet no shanking or finger raping was going on in there.
Yes. So, as you can imagine, Walnut Street Jail was full of uncleanliness, disease, and violence, and there was no focus on rehabilitation. Paul knows a thing or two about rehabilitation.
Yeah, mainly the first part of the word.
That's why I said it, rehabilitation.
We're kind of like a before and after picture. Before and after rehab.
Rude! In 1790, the society convinced Walnut Street Jail to build a new penitentiary called the Penitentiary House.
Creativity at its finest.
Individual cells for inmates where they could have silence for reflection to become penitent or for apologetic for their sin, their crime. Sorry, all the Catholicism is getting mixed in with the word penitence.
It's coming back to you.
Yeah. And it was the first purpose-built penitentiary in the world.
The first what, Bill?
Purpose-built penitentiary. A prison focused on redeeming the prisoners.
Oh, okay, I got you.
And it really worked because in 1821, the society lobbied the Pennsylvania legislature to build a new revolutionary prison that would focus on rehabilitation through isolation. And the legislature approved the idea and provided 12 acres and $800,000 to build the prison.
See, I would argue that isolation does not exactly mean rehabilitation. I feel like you do need some contact to fully rehabilitate.
Okay, let me get into the system.
Okay.
So this was built along the lines of a system called the separate system or the Pennsylvania system because it was created in Pennsylvania, where we're from. And it theorized that separate confinement of prisoners as a form of rehabilitation and reformation through penitence through a monastic-like silence and isolation.
Now, monastic, is that like
Like monastery.
Monastery,
yeah.
Okay.
So, like places where monks and nuns are, most times they take a vow of silence so that you can have personal reflection and prayer constantly. And this was the same idea. And even the construction of the building was to be church-like. It was a very Gothic in nature. It had huge towering halls, and every single cell had a skylight to provide light for it.
Nice.
And it also was a representative of the eye of God watching you.
Well, when you say it, like, the first part sounded good, but when you say the eye of God, that part's kind of spooky. That's kind of scary. It's kind of intimidating, really.
The idea of strict isolationism and for penance and seeking reformation flew in the face of the popular New York system of jail, which was prevalent throughout the rest of the United States for the rest of history, which was prisoners would be forced to remain silent and underwent hard labor and harsh punishments.
That sounds miserable.
Yeah. Kind of like you slapping around your boyfriends for fun.
Okay, that was only like 6 times.
Oh,
And the
like
charges
6
were
times.
dropped, okay?
The charges were dropped.
And now I'm welcome back at that Applebee's.
And now I'm welcome back at that Applebee's. That's only because Doug got fired.
Yeah, and that was not my
By the way, don't steal the mail off the Applebee's tables. It will get you fired. As Paul, he knows from experience. Construction on the prison began in 1822. The 12-acre site...
Bitch, what were they waiting for? You said this bitch was established...
1821, they got the funds.
Girl, you said they started in 1787.
The society was founded in 1787.
Mm-hmm.
In 1890, they convinced the other jail to build a small cell block along these lines. And then in 1821, they asked the legislature...
You mean 1790.
1790, thank
and
you.
Then
1821, they got the funds to build a whole prison.
Okay.
So 1822, they start the construction. The 12-acre site consisted of elevated farmland that was previously used as a cherry orchard.
Oh, sweet. Pop my cherry.
The site was aptly and uninspiredly called Cherry Hill, and the prison was initially called Cherry Hill State Prison.
Girl.
Which honestly sounds where criminals in Strawberry Shortcake Land go.
I was about to make that joke! You beat me to it. I was literally about to make that joke. Shit, we spent too much time together. You stole my joke before I even got to it.
Oops. Strawberry Shortcake's getting 10 to life. Strawberry Shortcake did some terrible things to a raspberry. It was designed by John. It was designed by John. Stop laughing. You're making me laugh. Okay. It was designed by John Haviland and is regarded as the world's first true penitentiary and was the model for over 300 other prisons worldwide.
Wow. Trendsetter.
It was designed in a wheel formation consisting of a central block with wings of cell radiating off from the central building. So, central block and then wing, 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 wing.
Okay.
Kind of like a kid draws the sun.
Right.
Circle and then lines.
That makes sense.
Each wing was initially designed to consist of individual cells on one story with skylights, the eye of God, to provide light, as well as indoor heating and plumbing, with the only way to enter through small doors from the exercise yards.
Okay.
And each cell had an individual exercise yard attached.
Nice. Okay, that's chill. A nice yard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is pretty revolutionary. At this time, this prison had more amenities than the White House.
Right. I mean, you get your own yard. You got your indoor plumbing. It's
Indoor heating.
Yeah, and I know today, looking how jail cells are today, people think that's like crazy, but
yeah,
if you go to foreign countries, a lot of their jails are actually like that.
Yeah, and I mean, for 1820 something, I don't think anywhere had indoor plumbing other than this place.
Right. Like, this place. I mean, so far it's not seeming like too bad of a place to be.
Now, I will say all the rooms didn't have any like candles or gas lighting. Electricity wasn't invented yet.
What can you do?
So the only light did come from that skylight. So when it got dark, you went to bed.
Yeah, it's like getting back to nature, kind of.
Kinda. Well, people went to bed earlier, like we just discussed last week in Velisco.
Mm-hmm.
However, after they completed wings 1 through 3, the initial design for 250 inmates was deemed too small due to the fact that those first 3 wings were already overcrowded.
Okay, yeah.
Those 3 wings already had over 250 prisoners. So, and they were about to like double it, and they were like, "Cool, we don't have enough room as it is."
Mm-hmm.
So, Wings 4 to 7 were built with cells on 2 floors to increase capacity to 556.
Okay.
This created the problem of cells on the first floor needing to get their light from the skylight in the cell above and making them darker than the other cells.
Oh, yeah. And then the guy above you, there's the hole in the floor, and the guy above you can look down, and the guy above him can look up at you. There's no privacy.
Yeah, but I mean,
Well, actually, I guess prison, there's no privacy in general, so.
well, they were individual cells. You had no cellmates originally.
Yeah. But you get what I'm saying, though.
Yeah. The complex was surrounded by 30-foot walls built in a Gothic style reminiscent of European cathedrals to inspire religious self-reflection in the inmates.
Oh.
And it was on a hill, so it was meant to intimidate any would-be criminals into not committing those crimes because they could just look up the hill and be like, I don't want to end up there.
Okay. I'm trying to be like that creepy house on the hill type gig. Okay.
Yeah. Construction of the original design, the 7 wings from the central block, was completed in 1836. The entire design was meant to maximize the isolation of the prisoners. Each cell had its own individual exercise yard, as I mentioned, and exercise times were staggered so that no 2 prisoners would be outside and next to each other so they couldn't communicate.
A lot of isolation.
Mm-hmm. If prisoners had to be moved throughout the prison, guards would place hoods over their heads to prevent them from seeing each other or communicating.
Girl, this is crazy.
If you were caught trying to communicate to other prisoners, you would be harshly punished.
See, when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about solitary confinement, where they isolate you as a punishment now. But back then, they're thinking it's a good thing, and it's probably not helping. Like, no, I know it's not helping. I don't even have to say probably.
Have you ever heard of a man named Charles Dickens?
Yeah. Christmas Carol.
Yes. He visited the prison in 1842. He came to the United States to visit Niagara Falls and this prison specifically.
That's an interesting choice for an author.
Right. Well, he also wrote newspaper articles. He was super sought after as somebody who wrote articles.
Okay, that makes more sense.
He was horrified by the prison and its system of isolation, and later wrote, "The system is rigid, strict, and hopeless solitary confinement, and I believe it in its effects to be cruel and wrong."
Yeah, I agree. And like when you said at the beginning, people went insane because of it. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
I saw another quote from an English newspaper, and it was basically saying it's amazing that a country that broke free of its homeland, England, and set itself up based off of democracy and equality would come up with the most torturous prisons known to man.
We're sick individuals. What can I say?
Yeah. In addition to the torture of the silence and isolation, guards had their own forms of torture which they used on prisoners. It started out with limits on the inmates' single hour of exercise. So they spent 23 days and 23 hours a day inside with 1 hour outside. And if the guards don't like what you're doing, maybe you only got 40 minutes. Maybe you only got 30. Maybe you didn't get any. Or they would limit their food. Eastern State at the beginning was known for having pretty good food. You were allowed to have as many potatoes as you wanted.
Okay, I like a potato. I can mess with that.
But if the guards didn't like what you're doing, maybe you only got one little potato.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, none of this surprises me.
And as is apt to happen with prison guards, the forms of punishment got darker. They included internment in the dark cells.
Ooh, the dark cells. That sounds devious.
Almost as devious as Hardy's.
The Hardys.
Yes. So these cells were first floor cells that had their skylights blocked and the interiors were painted black. So when you were thrown in there and the door was shut, it was total. And these walls are thick to prevent sound from carrying. So it was total sense deprivation.
So you're just in the void. No wonder they went insane. Like.
And sometimes, and there would be one little vent for air, so you could breathe and you wouldn't suffocate. But if the guards really wanted to torture you, they would crank the heat up. So even though there is air, you would still kind of suffocate from the heat.
That's actually, yeah, that's really awful. That's really deep. Yeah.
And you would be left in there for weeks to months.
Yeah, this is really, yeah, this is awful.
Also, they had the iron gag.
I've got an iron gag, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, I don't think it's like this one. This was a brace that was placed on their tongue, and then chains were attached to their wrist behind their back, and every movement of the arms would cause the brace to tighten on the tongue, shredding it apart. And a number of prisoners would then die of infection from their tongue as basically being ripped apart in their mouth.
That's like medieval torture. That
is
crazy.
medieval torture.
That's actually insane.
Like, I have no idea how they came up with that.
Probably medieval torture methods. Like, someone studied that and said, let me make my own.
But we're not done yet. There was also the mad chair, where
Ooh.
you would be strapped into a chair with leather straps that would be fastened so tightly on your body that you would lose circulation in your limbs. Depending on the length of time, this could leave you with severe muscular injury because blood wasn't getting to your muscles, and your muscles would basically die off and you can't like really use that limb anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Or amputation.
Yeah, I mean, if there's no blood circulation there, that's why people with diabetes lose their toes and things, the blood circulation and whatnot. No, it makes sense. Could you imagine losing your arm? That'd be crazy.
But I mean, you're fine. You can walk with no toes and your 1 foot after what happened.
Yeah, what happened?
You didn't listen to your little meter.
Little meter.
I don't know the brand of it. You weren't testing your sugar, Paul.
No, but these dudes sure are testing me, let me tell you. These fucking Pittsburgh dudes. Mm-mm. If you ever find yourself in Pittsburgh, don't do it, girl.
No. And the last form of torture I'm going to go into detail about is the ice baths.
I thought you were going to say they made them listen to Justin Bieber's newest album.
No.
Now that would be torture.
No. Guards would dunk prisoners into vats of ice water and then hang them up against the exterior walls of the prison in the middle of winter until their bodies froze solid. So this was a form of twofold torture because not only would the cold be unbearable and eventually cause illness such as hypothermia, but water freezes and becomes ice. And because they can't drip off of you, it's heavier. Which would increase the gravitational pull on your body, which would increase the stress wherever you were tied. So, like, let's say you were tied by your wrists. Eventually, your wrists and elbows and arms would just pop out of their sockets because you're being pulled down by the weight of the ice forming on you.
Yeah, that's pretty awful. Now, which was that the last form?
That was the last form
Which
of torture.
form of torture would you like the most? Which would you, if you had to go through one, which one would you get up in the gig with?
I would go with loss of potatoes.
I think I'd
No, I'd go with loss of exercise. I don't exercise as it is. It's really not that big of a deal if they cut it back.
If you had to choose between the void, the tongue, or the freezing, which would you choose out of those three?
You forgot the chair.
Oh, and the chair.
I guess the void.
That's what I'd choose too. I'd go with the void. See, and the leather chair just sounds like a cursed cuck chair.
The cursed cuck chair. Eastern Penitentiary, the cursed cuck chair.
Yes. They put you in the chair and then they make you watch the guards.
And then the guards are like,
To your wife.
I just thought that the guards were having a heated rivalry moment.
No, because that's not cucking. Cucking is like, it has to be your wife.
I know, but they're really going to bring your wife in for that?
Yeah, I mean, if they really wanted to torture you.
I wonder do you remember Get Out? That movie? That scary movie?
Yeah.
And the guy, like, sitting in the chair and he looks, like, terrified. I wonder if that's what the director imagined him. Like, imagine Bradley Whitford's fucking your wife. And she's really enjoying it. And that's what got him to cry.
Never seen that movie. Don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. In 1829, while the building was still under construction, the prison got its first prisoner, prisoner 0001, Charles Williams, a burglar.
Ooh.
And in 1832, the prison had its first escape attempt. Hot!
Why is that hot?
I don't know, because, like, I don't know. I love it when men try to escape.
That's why you're single? You think escape attempts are hot?
I do, especially when I have to chase after them.
I
I
Okay.
love, just, there's something about going after a man.
Yeah.
With a tranquilizer gun, some nets, maybe a bear trap,
I like a bear trap, yeah.
right? And a bear claw. A bear claw goes nice with your coffee in the morning. You don't like coffee, but a bear claw, yeah. Anyways, the first prison escape attempt was done by William Harrison, a pig stealer. Paul knows a couple things about stealing pigs.
And so does your ex.
Yeah. He was assigned to serve as the warden's personal waiter, and one night he was waiting for the warden to come to dinner. And he was just like, I'm waiting, why don't I do something? Climbed out the window, lowered himself down from the roof, and ran away. However, he was later arrested. Not for escaping jail, but for again stealing pigs.
Damn, he just loves that swine. That sweet, sweet swine.
And sent back to Eastern State Prison. And again in 1837, he escaped out another window and was caught again for stealing more pigs.
Again, that sweet, sweet swine. He can't stay away.
Harry Porker, they can't keep me away from you.
Not Harry Porker. That's crazy.
Wilbur!
Please!
Please, Wilbur's my only friend. Please. Please.
I need their bacon for flashlights.
Oink, oink. Wilbur, oink, oink.
Please! Okay, well, we're gonna be canceled after this one.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all.
The one which we get canceled.
Well, we're not even on the hauntings yet.
In 1877, this history's haunted. In 1877, overcrowding was again a problem, and construction on additional cell blocks in the open areas between the existing wings commenced. Cell block 12 would be completed in 1911, and was drastically different from the other blocks, being constructed of light concrete, consisting of 3 floors with cells for 40 prisoners, and instead of skylights, it had narrow windows. And when I said it was made of light concrete, I don't mean it was made out of light colored concrete. I mean it was made out of cheap concrete. So as you can see, they're going to keep building onto this thing, and it's just going to keep getting worse.
And if you need an example of cheap concrete, just look at DJ's foundation.
You proud of yourself for that one?
I am, actually, yeah.
Good. I'll remember that. In 1884, Michael Doran became the first guard to be murdered in the prison when a prisoner named Joseph Taylor beat him over the head with a length of pipe.
Again, lay in pipe.
In 1913, the Pennsylvania system of isolation was formally dropped and the prison became a congregate jail, despite the system having broken down decades before. So now people could talk.
Hey, I mean, you probably was at least a little bit better than it was before.
Right. In 1924, the prison welcomed one of its most notable prisoners.
Ooh.
Pep, the cat murdering dog.
What?
Pep, the cat murdering dog. Pep was a black Labrador retriever. He was sentenced by Pennsylvania Governor Gifford Pinchot, what a name, for the murder of his wife's beloved cat, and Pep was assigned inmate C2559 and got his mugshot. What actually happened was Governor Pinchot actually donated the dog to be like a therapy and morale booster dog.
Oh, that's actually nice. That's a really cute story.
And basically, like, the prisoners and the guards were like, oh, well, he needs, like, a backstory and, like, a mugshot and a prisoner ID number. And you can, like, look him up and see his mugshot with his prison ID number.
Oh, that's actually really cute.
By 1926, the prison originally designed for 250 people held over 1,700. And construction on cell block 14 began. Soon the prison would grow to 15 cell blocks, with both blocks 14 and 15 hastily built and almost no open ground being left within the prison walls. Block 15 would come to house the most dangerous prisoners and be gated off from the guards so that for their own safety.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. And honestly, throughout this whole story, I just realized I don't really hear any stories of anyone actually being rehabilitated.
Right? In 1929, notorious Chicago mafia boss Al Capone was arrested for carrying a concealed deadly weapon and held in the prison for 8 months. His far reaching crime organization saw to it that he served his sentence in ultimate comfort. His cell was fitted with fine antiques, priceless art, oriental carpets, and even a radio, and he was allowed to receive visits from his family members and fellow mobsters to continue to orchestrate the mob business from inside.
Hmm. Nice, nice. I mean, that's what happens with all these mobsters and the cartelsmen and everything. They're doing crimes from the inside, even when they're in prison.
You come to me in my prison to ask me a favor. I will grant you this favor in exchange for you to owe me one in return. The Godfather.
Yeah, never seen it, but I get the reference.
Did you go to school for like film?
I did. I went to school for video production, graphic design, all that stuff, yeah.
And you never had to watch The Godfather?
Nope.
Okay. I'm questioning your education, but fine. In 1933, prisoners rioted over overcrowding and being underpaid for the work that they conducted in the prison, and they decided that they were going to start setting fires in their cells.
Burn it to the ground.
Burn it to the ground! Sorry, I don't know where that came from out of me.
That's okay.
In 1945, one of the largest escape attempts occurred when 12 inmates escaped through a 97-foot long tunnel equipped with fans and electric lighting dug under the prison walls and 2 city blocks away. So they went 12 feet down and then 2 blocks away.
And you know what? They put in the work. At that point, they deserve it. If they put in that much work, I say let them free. Let them have it. They did their duty.
Most of the escapees were caught within minutes.
Damn, I'd be pissed if I put in all that work, got caught in like 5 minutes. I'd be pissed.
One, Clarence Kleindist, who masterminded the building of the tunnel, was out for 2 hours before being caught. He had only 2 years left to serve, and after this, they added another 10 years. Another escapee was Slim Sutton, the notorious bank robber known as the Gentleman Bandit. He later claimed that he was the mastermind behind the cell and that Clarence just sort of did the design work, but it was his idea. And one of the prisoners was caught like 4 hours after escaping by knocking on the prison door because he didn't want to be on the run anymore and he was hungry. That's you.
Honestly.
If you escape jail, I'm hungry. Please let me in.
I mean, can you blame? Honestly.
I want potatoes.
Honestly, though, I'd go back. Honestly, I wasn't meant to suffer. Like all these doomsday preppers and stuff. Listen, the grid goes down and I have to start hunting for food. Just take me out, girl. I wasn't meant for all that. I would definitely be going back, okay? Because I was not meant for any of that.
Potatoes, please.
Exactly. I'm meant for DoorDash and TikTok.
In 1961, 2 prisoners convinced a guard to open their cell doors, and they quickly overpowered the guard and began the largest riot in the prison's history. And this led to discussion of closing the prison after many decades of riots, escape attempts, murders, and investigations finding that the prison wasn't up to snuff. 9 years later, in 1970, the prison was finally closed when all remaining prisoners were moved to other prisons. The property remained abandoned until 1980 when the city of Philadelphia bought the property and in 1984 transferred it to the city's redevelopment authority to find a commercial use to be found for it.
No, keep going. You're fine.
In 1988, a group of historians and architects convinced the mayor to stop the potential commercial use of the property, and the first public tours were held. In 1991, the prison held its first Halloween fundraising event, which continues to this day, and in 1994, daily tours began, with visitors having to wear hard helmets and sign safety waivers. It was finally in 2008 that they didn't have to sign waivers or wear hard helmets anymore.
Was that because they made it safer or just because?
Because they made it safer.
Okay.
So all the money from like these fundraisers and the tours were going towards upkeep of the building.
Okay, period. That sounds better than just like, oh, we don't care anymore.
Today, the site is open for daily tours, continues to hold Halloween events, and has exhibits focusing on criminal justice reform.
Hell yeah, brother.
Do you have any thoughts on the history of Eastern State Penitentiary before I get into the ghost?
I mean, it's giving the history of most prisons. Like, it started, fucked up shit happened, it closed.
Does it remind you of home?
Yeah, it does actually a little bit.
I'm sure all the beatings definitely do.
Well, the beating off, yes, but...
Well, I meant all the times you beat your mother up.
That only happened like a lot of times.
Now let's talk about the ghosts. And I made sure to do a different transition this week.
Yep, you transitioned to it by accusing me of beating up my mother.
No, I transitioned it by going, let's talk about ghosts rather than, with all this history, it's unsurprising that it's haunted. One of the most famous hauntings actually occurred during the time the prison was still operational. And it occurred to one of the prison's most famous prisoners, Al Capone.
Sorry, wasn't he like haunting another place too? I forget. We covered another place that he was said to haunt.
Oh, he's not haunting. He was haunted.
Oh, he was haunted. Okay.
He was haunted. Haunted.
Maybe there was some place. It'll come to me later.
So, during his 8-month sentence, he would often begin shouting in the middle of the night, begging a Jimmy to stay away from him. Guards would rush his cell to find him utterly alone, cowering in his bed. Capone claimed that he was being haunted by a victim of his.
Oh, yeah.
Just months before he was sentenced to stay in Eastern State, he had ordered the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which killed 7 men, including James Jimmy Clark.
I probably covered this when I covered the Valentine's Day Massacre.
Probably.
Okay, that's probably what I'm thinking of.
For the rest of his life, Capone would claim that Jimmy continued to haunt him, going so far as to hire mediums to rid him of the ghost. And one article claimed that Jimmy actually drove Capone insane. Let me just say, Al Capone did go insane before he died. However, Al Capone went insane before he died because he had a raging case of syphilis.
Okay.
And I really don't think you can say that a person who's known to have syphilis, which is known to cause insanity, was driven to insanity by a ghost and not the medical condition.
Yeah, I imagine maybe there wasn't a ghost there and maybe it was just the sypha.
Oh, I was taking the Jimmy story for real, and that the claim that Jimmy drove him insane at the end of his life.
We'll have to see if he had syphilis before he went into that jail or after.
Hey Siri, when did Al Capone get diagnosed with syphilis?
Heart.
XOXO.
Diagnosed with neurosyphilis in 1938 and spent the remainder of his sentence in the prison's hospital wing.
1938. What year is that?
This was in 1929 to 1930, so roughly 10 years before.
Okay, so he hadn't had the syphilis yet, so Jimmy might
Didn't
have been
have
a
the
real
big
person. That's so funny. Siri actually kicked on.
That's why I was pausing. I wanted to see if either of our series answered. Also among the ghosts is that of Michael Doran, the first guard to have been killed by prisoners, who can be heard walking the halls with his keys jingling, and is sometimes seen standing alone in the former watchtower.
That's kind of spooky.
Right? Also seen lurking around is his murderer, Joseph Taylor, who can be seen lurking in cells.
Joseph Taylor. That's spooky.
Not to be confused with Taylor Swift.
Elizabeth Taylor.
Or Elizabeth Taylor.
Do you think it's for real?
No, I don't.
Do you think it's forever?
In the 1990s, prison locksmith Gary Johnson was fixing an old lock in cell block 4 when he claimed an invisible hand grabbed him. Despite his struggles, this force rendered him unable to move or scream. While restrained, he was assaulted by visions of tortured faces on the cell walls and an intense feeling of dread that shook through his entire body. This seemed like it went on forever before he was finally released, and after he was let go, the last thing he saw was a shadowy figure duck out of the cell away from him.
That's almost giving like sleep paralysis a little bit. I know he was awake and everything, but it's giving like sleep paralysis a little bit.
In older sections of the prison, a still apparition has been often reported. The figure is notorious for staying completely still down long hallways.
Long hallways!
Sorry, I don't know why I can't speak today.
You're fine, girl.
Not moving until approached by witnesses, at which point it runs off and disappears.
Ooh, I'm a runner, I'm a track star. It's a song.
No, with that figure you aren't. Pep the prison dog can also be heard frolicking through the halls and howling
Oh, puppy!
and howling in the prison yard at night.
Oh, I want to see the puppy.
Among the most haunted locations is the cell block 12. People have heard disembodied screams followed by maniacal cackling.
It's those two sounds exactly.
Yes. Wait, let's do it again.
Oh! Imagine listening to that all night.
I'd go insane too. Footsteps in empty hallways, tapping and banging from empty cells, and one way that prisoners used to communicate was by tapping to each other.
Girl, they were doing Morse code. Good for them.
Exactly. Cell doors slamming when no one is there. And on Ghost Adventures, the crew claimed to capture a video of what appeared to be a shadow figure running along the 3rd floor catwalk when no one was up there.
I remember that episode, I think. No, I think I remember that.
In Cell Block 8, Cell 49, Joseph Havel killed his cellmate George Kopp by stabbing him with scissors. Who gives a prisoner scissors? Like, here, have fun with arts and crafts.
Well, prisoners have like jobs and stuff. I don't know if they had jobs and stuff like back in that day, but
yeah,
like,
but
some
like,
jobs
why aren't
requires-
you checking?
Yeah, they should check. Yeah, for sure.
In the cell, paranormal researchers have gotten the name George on the spirit box.
Pretty common name. So.
But the spirit box, like, you know
Yeah. It could be anyone. Is what I'm getting at is
Oh.
it could have been any of the past 10 names.
It could have been any of the Georges who stayed here. It didn't
Right.
have to be George Kopp.
No, it could like there's a lot of dudes named George. It's a very
Right.
common name, so it could be really any George that
Okay.
stayed there.
Then I'm going to call you George instead of Fall now.
Okay.
Cell Block 15, where the most violent of the prisoners were kept, is also very haunted. It's full of disembodied screams,
Oh!
whimpers,
Oh!
and whispers. It is also seen are shadow figures running around the halls and the cells.
I want to see a shadow figure. I want to go there and I want to see the shadow figure.
You do that. And that is the Eastern State Penitentiary.
Period. The classic haunted prison. But honestly, I do want to go there because this place does seem pretty legit. And I do know they have a paranormal convention there, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. The bus route on Saw Video was insane because they were getting a ton of evidence. Like,
Right.
some of the clearest spirit box things. Like, at one point, they said they asked it, like, what color, like, if you can see us, what color are our jackets? And it said brown and white. He was wearing a brown jacket with a white collar.
See, that's actually crazy. That is actually crazy. But I already know this is going to go back to, and we can talk about this a little more in depth because if you watched our Gettysburg episode, live episode anyway, about paranormal tourism, I bet it's probably $200 plus fucking dollars to stay overnight or investigate. So
I don't know. I didn't look that up.
no worries. I mean, I bet it's right. I'll fact check it and I'll put it like, no. Hey Siri, how much is it to investigate the Eastern State Penitentiary? Do a paranormal investigation.
Okay, I found this on the web for how much is it to investigate the Eastern State Penitentiary to a paranormal investigation. Check it out.
Hold on, let me see. Maybe they don't just let anyone investigate then.
No, it's probably just for private events.
Okay, guys, we tried to look it up and we couldn't find anything on paranormal investigation. So maybe it's one of those things locked up tight where you have to be famous or something to be able to investigate. So either way, paranormal tourism, gatekeeping in the paranormal community. But you know what? Prove me wrong then. Maybe I'll find other information in next
Eastern State, invite us.
Yes, invite us, and maybe I'll find contradicting information that it's really not as expensive to stay the night there, you know? Rent it out, get some evidence and things. You know, maybe they'll prove me wrong. Who knows?
Prove me wrong, baby.
Yeah, and we have 2 weeks to investigate this and look up how much it is because we're not going to be able to record again until I'm back again. And we do have that we haven't announced yet, and I'm just going to hint at maybe we have a little exciting series coming up for you guys. A little bop, if you will.
Yes, we do, and I definitely know what Paul's talking about.
Yes. So super excited for that, and just stay tuned. We have lots of things planned for when I get back from Iceland, and I'm super excited. But back to the Eastern State Penitentiary. It is a really good story. It's really interesting, and I would love to go. Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of, I think it's like 6-hour drive from here.
Something like that.
Super far, but yeah, it's an interesting story, and I would definitely go and investigate. And sorry for shit talking you if you guys about being expensive if you're not actually expensive. Sorry about that, and please invite us.
Please like, subscribe, and follow wherever you're listening. Please connect with us on all of our social medias. DM us or email us your personal stories. Paul, where can they find you?
You can find me at my personal Instagram and TikTok at Paulember, Paulember. And as usual, it's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
And if you'd like to follow me, you can do so at The Real Teach Powers on TikTok and on Instagram. And as always, folks, remember, keep your grips tight.
And your corks loose.
Bye.
Bye.